Hi sweeties, how are you today? Today is Thursday! That's my favorite day of the entire week because my husband gets off work early and we do things together, and it's the day that I usually can be creative. So I look like poop, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm just happy to have a day where I can do fun stuff. And some of you asked me if I could film the painting process. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's just.jill, and you can see what I paint there. So mostly I do perfume bottles, but I do shoes and bags and stuff like that. So I do lots of other things as well. So I'm going to talk you through it. So today I'm painting Tel Aviv from Gallivant. So I paint them and then I do reviews as well. So first of all, I look at the notes. So I use their own website or Fragrantica and I try to see and I try to smell it myself and really get a feel for the scent. Is this a fresh scent? Is it a dark scent? Is it a spicy scent? What kind of scent is it? So this is mostly white flowers and fresh fruits. So something in that vein. And then I look at the design of the bottle and the design of the company. What do they like? Do they mostly have black and white photos? Do they mostly have vintagey photos? You know, how do they like it? And I have a couple of different things that I do that are not just paintings. Sometimes I do with like flowers instead of the cork. Sometimes I do with the molecule that is most prominent of the fragrance. Sometimes I paint on old music sheets. Sometimes I paint them like black and white. I have different techniques. This time, and sometimes if I'm going to paint them with flowers or something like that, I do a photo shoot first. So I put them with whatever flowers and things that I would like. This time I'm actually, because this is, because this is called Tel Aviv and it's inspired by the city Tel Aviv, I printed out a photo. Unfortunately, I don't have a color printer, so I just use this a little bit as a guide, and then I also look at the photo. So I'm going to paint this on top of this. So that's what I chose to go with this time because I thought it was so interesting that it was named and created from a city. So I do something like that. So then what I do is first step, let's see, can I turn you around? No, I can't. Wait a minute. Now you are turned around. So what I start with is basically my lighting table, because I do cheat when it comes to like lettering and things like that, because that's really hard to get freehand. And so I mark out some guides for that, and then this one I'm going to do a little bit differently because I'm not doing outlines first. I'm going to show you in a moment when I've started doing it. Okay, if you can see anything, I'm using this picture and I marked off. So this is the kind of stuff that you can rub off later, so no color comes on that one. And I'm just starting with the background. This paper is driving me crazy. If you have any tips for affordable paper, because I have some that are really good, but they are so expensive. So I'm just starting out like this, and I'm gonna keep going with this for a while. So this happens a lot when I paint. I was going, you can't really see the background too well, but I was starting with the background, and then I went to remove this and it broke. So it broke off a big chunk of paper and it didn't work out. So this is why it usually takes me a long time to paint, because I get ideas, I try them, and they don't always work out. So I'm scrapping this and I'm starting again. Taking a Ben & Jerry's break, and I'm gonna start over with the painting, and I think I'm going to do it differently this time. So I'm gonna show you in a minute. So I'm coming at it in another way. I took out the really good, really expensive paper. I like this brand. It's 100% cotton, which I hear is always the best. No expert at all. I always go over with a normal sketch pen, and then I'm gonna do the outlines. And then I had this idea. I cut out the shape of it so that I can put it on there, and then I can do splatters and it won't affect this area, instead of doing what I did before, because I really have problems with that. And I can show you which brand that is if you're curious. Maybe you have a better suggestion for me. Where did it go? I'm always kind of messy when I paint. I just put everything wherever. Can you see it for me? There it is. It's drawing gum is what it's called, and I do have problems with it because if you paint it on too thin, it doesn't work. If you paint it on too thick, it doesn't work. If you take it off too soon or wait too long, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna try this instead, just putting this on top, because my problem with painting this is that it's so light in the colors that I have to have something around it. So I'm gonna go with colors like yellow or more like orange and white, and maybe a little bit of blue, because I think this represents this scent very well. So I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna be back to you when I've done the background, so you're gonna see what that looks like. So I'm really not sure if I like this background either. This is gonna be such a fail video. But I'm actually gonna give it a try, because I'm gonna paint the bottle. So that's gonna take a good long while, but then I'm gonna see if it looks good with this background when there's more ink and stuff on it. What do you guys think? Will this look good? I always doubt myself, and most of the time I'm really happy with how it comes out, but the process is really hard. So I'm gonna keep painting on this, and if I don't like the end product, then I'm just gonna throw it away and start again. I'll be back with a little bit more sketched out, and I've used the lighting table to help me with letters and things. And I have this one that I start with, and now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna fill in everything with pencil. I usually use these ones. They are the Uni Pen. I have no idea. These are just the ones that are easy accessible. Zoom, focus. Most easily accessible to me here, and I really do like these ones. And so then it takes me a long time to fill everything in and do it really nicely. I usually use the one. When I started painting, I always made thicker lines, and now I do sometimes, but mostly I stick with the one. So I'm gonna be doing that, and that is gonna take me a little while. So my husband set up a time lapse. Hopefully that worked. This is, oh, now there's all kinds of shades. This is usually what it looks like as a base. So this is all the base laid down, and now it's only like details, and there's a fly. So definitely I'm more happy with it like this, but you see the problem I was talking about, that it's way too light, and especially, let's see if I can just remove some of these lights. Especially like if I'm going to take a photo like this and put it on Instagram, that is not going to show up whatsoever. So I'm gonna have to do some black contouring. I do use ink for that. I do love mixing different mediums, so that's what I do. So now I'm gonna do the details. I have already been painting for about, I think, 2.5–3 hours. So it definitely takes me a long time to get to this point, but It's also so much fun. So I'm gonna continue and see if I can do this today. Usually it takes me about 2 days to do a painting, because otherwise I just lose motivation. So I'm gonna continue a little bit today. Really hard to show you, I've realized. Maybe if I do this. This is it finished with the details. As I said, this in itself, in reality, it actually looks really cool, but in a photo it's going to look very boring. So I'm going to add black around and splatters around. So I always take photos in between so that I can see what it looks like in progresses, and also if the person I'm painting for would like one of the alternatives better. So now I'm gonna add the black, and that's always exciting and kind of scary, especially splattering. It can really ruin a painting in a millisecond, and then you have to start all over again. So wish me luck. Okay, so this is the final check-in. This is what it turned out like. This is the bottle. Let's see if I can place it there without it rolling away. So I don't know if you think it looks alike, but I really like how it turned out. It's not how I intended it from the start, but that's the way it is. A lot of times when I paint, maybe I should turn you around. Wait a minute. Maybe it's nicer to see my face. It's hard. I don't know how this turned out, you guys. Maybe you hated this video. It was really difficult. I have no skills for filming or editing or anything like that. So maybe it was horrible. Let me know what you think. I would love to do like a very professional video like this, but probably never going to happen. So I am very happy with how it turned out. This is a very classical gel style. I am trying to experiment and doing new things, but that means failing a lot of the time. And I think people think, you know, that you just paint. But I usually end up painting several and changing a lot, and it almost never ends up as I had planned from the start. So I'm still very happy with it, and I hope that the company will be happy with it. This is something that I am doing as a collaboration with them. So they have sent me their perfume, their tester sample and their perfume for me to have as a PR. And then I paint for them. So I always hope that the person that I'm doing it for, whether it's a company or just normal person, that they are happy with it. It's always more fun to do orders, like if someone orders from me and they say, you know, I want this, I want that, or they show me like a picture of their room that it's going to be hanging in, and they say, you know, I want something this style. It's always more fun for me, and it's always more nerve-wracking. I find that it's really hard with art nowadays because people are not willing to pay anything for it. And if you think about like the salaries and stuff in Sweden, and this takes me a long time. This is still not finished. It has to be dried, and then it has to be photographed in different sections, and then it will take time to edit those photos. So for these that want the painting and the digital, I mean, we're up to like 7 hours. So I think that is scary sometimes to me when people don't think that that is worth anything. They would rather go to IKEA and buy a print. And that's fine. I mean, the prints at IKEA are, I feel like I'm looking weird down at you. The prints at IKEA are really cool, so I understand it. And most people, maybe you don't have the money, and that's fine. But I think it's weird when people assume that art isn't supposed to cost anything, basically. That was my rant. But I hope that you liked it. And if you have any more questions, like what I use when I paint, stages of painting, anything like that, then please leave questions down below. And also, if you have any tips for me, if you feel like, oh, this perfume would look great in this style, that would be really fun to hear and to maybe try out. So I hope you liked what I drew, and also that you come join me on Instagram, and also that you check out our webpage where you can actually buy our art. It's linked down below. It's webbmonstret. It's hard because it's in Swedish. It's a sucky address, to be honest, but it's webmonstret.se, which is for Sweden. So you can go check that out there and see what you think. And if you paint or do anything artsy yourself, let me know and tell me what you do and what where I can see what you have painted. It would be so much fun. Okay, have a good day, guys. Bye.